All right, we're live. This is huge. I've been wanting to do this one for at least a year now, bro. This is Yofray Ray. What's your full legal name, by the way? Or do you not even?
Jeffrey Cole Humphrey Ray.
Okay, nice. But you go by Yofray, or
Yeah,
that's how
yeah.
I met him. This is the good friend of mine, first of all, but the original founder of I'm Shmacked. That's the first part we're going to start with here. Dude, you pretty much like know everybody. You've been around the block, you could say, in LA, so you're very well connected. Met me through an arch nemesis, right? Enemy of my enemy is my friend. So excited to have you on today and hear your story, how you started this like media empire it's turning into now.
Hell yeah. I mean, I wouldn't even say it's an enemy. He's just a guy, you know?
Yeah.
Guy I used to know. He's a friend I used to know. Jag. Call him Jag.
Yeah.
So should we start there?
Yeah, let's go. What is the origin story behind I'm Shmacked? Which, by the way, is how pretty much myself and every other kid my age, when we were looking at colleges, chose where to apply to.
Okay, so bring it back. Senior year of high school. I went to school in Lower Merion, Kobe Bryant's high school in Philadelphia, outside of Philly.
Mm-hmm.
And we were partying, weekend of partying, whatever, senior year. And my friends were like, we should film senior year. And everyone says stuff like that, except I just was like, fuck it, let's just actually do it. Started filming every weekend. We go to the parties, messing around. It was like a 45-minute movie of 3 chapters. It sounds so stupid now, but it was drinking one chapter, smoking one chapter, and the third one was called Dumb Shit We Do, which was like just vandalizing. It was like a rich suburban area, so it's just like, you know, classic just debauchery.
Yeah.
So we started that, and we did that, filmed all senior year, and it was supposed to come out on the last day of school. Everybody knew about it. There was a preview out. There was a trailer, which is not online anymore. I took it down because the school got mad. But it didn't come out because the school gave us laptops. I'll talk about that later because that's a funny story. But I deleted the footage because I was trying to make more room.
Mm-hmm.
And this is before like I even knew about hard drives. This is 2010.
Mm-hmm.
Deleted so much footage, basically ruined the whole movie, all gone. And I was like, shit, like I want to make something similar when we go to college because all my best friends went to Indiana's and the GW's and Penn State, so just want to kind of emulate what we did in high school and bring it to college and visit my friends on the weekend because I was at school at SVA in New York City. So I did. First one was at Temple because they started school early in that summer and I was at home, so that was easy. Second one I did Syracuse as I was in New York City, took a bus up. Third one, I knew it was going to take like 3 or 4 to catch because I created the formula. I was like, all right, I'm going to find 2 friends or a friend or 2 to start the beginning of the video and say, I'm such and such at whatever university.
Yeah.
We're here for this week. Let's show you a tour. So it's kind of like a hype tour video for the weekend. So I did that, and then we did Temple, Syracuse. Then I went to West Virginia. A bunch of my friends were there. We drove up there for the weekend for a football weekend. It was like the big game weekend. Like ESPN went there and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So that was the big one. That was like a really big one that blew up. And then after that, it was NYU for Halloween, BU, I believe, and then Penn State was 6. And just went on and on and on from there. But
What was the goal, original goal behind this? Was it just like make fun videos showing what college is really like? Because, I mean, YouTube obviously had been around for a little bit, but I hadn't seen like college party videos, college theme videos ever, right? It was like the first of its kind in a way. Was it just for fun at first, or were you like, we could turn this into a business and then start touring?
It was definitely just for fun. Like I just called it I'm Shmacked the movie because the goal was to just do what I did in high school and kind of just make a movie about it, like make, you know, a bunch of 3-minute videos and turn it into like some kind of like film or something because was into film. And then it kind of just like took on a life of its own and I was like, wow, we can actually do something with this. And then I got a Facebook message from Jag, this guy that was like, hey, I'm a top selling author. I'm young like you. Like I go to GW. I can make this thing that you want to make into a movie. I have a book deal. Like I can get this turned into a film. Like we could do this together. I should be your partner. And I was like, okay. Like I didn't even like I thought it could be a business, but I didn't really know where to start. And
Was this your first business too, by the way?
yeah, so I'm like 18. Why did I just travel, want to party, think it's awesome? So I'm like, okay, fine. So we meet at Penn State because he was from Maryland, and he's like, all right, I have the contract, and I was like, kind of weirded out by that, but again, like I didn't know.
Yeah, you didn't know any better.
As Pharrell says, creativity without business sense oftentimes leads to victimization. So, I'm not gonna say I'm the victim because I was negligent and it is my fault for not knowing. But I'm like, all right, fine, sign, let's do it. He's investing some money and time in this. I'm like, all right, let's do it. And then from there we started it, and that was a second semester, 2012. So, yeah, that
12
was
years ago.
Yeah.
So you start this company, starts getting some traction, right? You start making.
It wasn't even a company yet.
Yeah, but it's just having fun, making cool videos.
Yeah.
He hits you up, and a little bit intimidating, but you're like, this could take it to the next level. What percent of the company did he?
50.
Yeah, so comes in and takes 50.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Well, that's a lesson. That's a lesson that you learn early on. Like, I mean, there's nothing wrong with 50-50 partners if you trust them. I'm 50-50 partners with my cousin.
Yeah.
And we're also good friends, so it makes sense. But, yeah, then you quickly, I'd say be very cautious. If you're young and you're starting a business for the first time, you need to be very cautious about who's coming in and taking control. But so then what happens? Then does it get a little bit more legitimized? Like, did he bring anything to the table whatsoever?
Yeah, I mean, just the mindset of let's make money with it. I mean, we didn't really know how. Like, people may think like it was the way it is now. It wasn't, though. Like, you couldn't make money on YouTube at all. You couldn't monetize through the internet, like through YouTube or any platforms, really. This is 2011. There's no Instagram. I think Instagram was just starting out, but it was like nothing. It was like Vimeo was pretty big. So really there was not many revenue streams besides merch and like live events.
Yeah,
so,
selling tickets.
Yeah, so it was tough. And he kind of just like we were just trying to find ways to monetize, and like he kind of, I guess, brought that into the fold because I was just good at getting views and branding and getting the eyeballs on it. And he was kind of just like, we should sell T-shirts, blah, 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 like where do we get them and stuff like that. So I guess he brought that to the table.
Nice. Well, it's important. I mean, we can give him that. But he goes around talking about how this was bringing in millions of dollars and this was like this massive is that true? How big did this get before things started to go south?
I mean, the biggest tour that I saw was like our 2013 tour. We had a big tour bus and stuff. We grossed like $250. I think we spent like $90K or $100K or something like that. That was before the big investment that we got. And I mean, I don't see how we could have made $1 million. I mean, I definitely not when I was there.
Yeah.
Maybe when I left, I really don't know what happened after that, but I don't think so. I don't see how. I really don't see how.
What happened? What do you mean after you left? Where does that lead?
Okay, so where we were 2013, we did the bus tour that like wowed everybody. That was like the big moment for us. And a friend, his brother's friend, who is just a friend of his brother's from college, that I guess he had just like a lot of money to play with from his family, and he was interested in investing, and he invested $500K for 10%. So then we go
pretty crazy valuation for
Yeah.
a company that hasn't even brought in that much in revenue yet.
Yeah, so when we go on his press run, like capping about how it's like worth $5 million, and like technically, yeah, it's worth $5 million because it's 10%,
Yeah.
$500K, like yeah, but if you audited or did books, it would be like, what the fuck, company's not worth dick. So we went around saying we're worth $5 million, and this is when I really knew. This is the real bad part. This is for everybody if you ever get into business. So he claimed, since I'm bringing the investor, you have to give your 10% and we're not going to split it.
Yeah.
So that's when he took control, and that's when it
And you were just and you just fell for that because
I held out for like 6 months.
Yeah.
And after all this time, I was just like, I guess this is it. I don't know. Like, I
Yeah.
just like, and at that time, a good thing too to note for other people is talk to your parents, talk to your friends. This was a time where I was like turning up and drinking and stuff. Like, I didn't want advice from my parents. I didn't want to like ask them. I felt like embarrassed asking them or something. And like, they always wanted to help. And I just was just like, nah. So that was bad too. Just not wanting help. Because in that moment, they would just been like, no, what do you, what? Like, how does this even happen?
Yeah.
So then that happened. Once he took control, went all south from there. And yeah, I just remember a big moment that stuck out. We did an ABC interview with like ABC News or something about the evaluation, and like he like didn't even tell me and just like went on his own. And I was like, wow. I'm like, what? And he's like, yeah, no, they just wanted one person. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
I'm like, so that's when like I pretty much knew starting probably around like when it started really popping off, everybody just knew who I was and they didn't know who he was, and he would get really upset by it. So I think that's when
creds, and he still runs around talking about it.
yeah, it's really important for him for people to think that he started something. And there's a lot of companies that I think that he's probably done the same thing to, where he just
I know a few.
Oh, let's get involved. Oh, it's my company. I started it. It's
Yeah.
like, dude, he hasn't started anything. It's crazy.
There's nothing. I think when you're a young kid and you're starting a business for your first time, and someone older who you respect, who seems like they have their shit figured out, gets all excited and wants to help you, that's a very exciting feeling as a young entrepreneur. You're like, no, somebody else somebody who's done this before is noticing me. They want to help, right? Like, this is awesome. I've been in that position myself. I've also like met young entrepreneurs who are just starting and they really want to get me involved. And I didn't because I'm busy with my own stuff. But that's a very exciting feeling, right? Having someone older, you could say a veteran of some sorts, like telling you like, you have a great idea here. With my help, we can bring it to the next level. All you want as a kid who's just created something is to like help it grow. So it's like kind of what you went through is what a lot of young entrepreneurs have experienced. I think almost every entrepreneur experiences something like that along their journey, right? Getting screwed over somehow, manipulated by someone older, whether it's like an investor, potential partner, whatever. But at that point, then you just slowly start to leave, or you're just like, I'm done with this.
No. So it got worse and worse, and I kind of just like we drifted apart. And then he just started like siphoning off money from the 500K, and I'm like, dude, where's this money going? And he's like, oh no, I think we work harder when there's less money in the bank account. I'm like, what?
That's crazy.
I'm like, what? He literally moved 100K, and I'm like, I just like, yo, if you don't move this back in like 24 hours, I'm just gonna tell the investor. And he didn't, and then I told him, and then we locked him out of all the accounts.
The investor.
Yeah.
Who was his family member, right?
No, it was a friend of
okay.
his brother's.
Yeah.
And he was like, what the fuck? So we pretty much like.
And how did that conversation go? You reach out, you're like, hey, by the way, like I just want to let you know, like my partner is like mishandling funds.
Yeah, and that's another thing. Like I have a relationship with him still. He's the man. Like we have the same birthday. And at the time of the investment, I didn't even like. Jag made it a point to literally make it so I couldn't get in contact with him. So like I didn't even talk to him at all. So obviously by design, and like I had to reach out and be like, he's like moving money. Like I don't know what to do. Like we have to do something about this. So then we met up. We like talked about it, and then we basically step back. I forgot about this part. So he took us to this guy, Jeremy Green's house, who's still my friend today. He was like doing this company called Ping Tank at the time. It was like some app. It's an entrepreneur that I know. And it was like this big house. He was throwing all these events, these high profile events, like Kylie Jenner and Tyga showing up. And I show up and he talks to me. He's like, you started this company, not him. I'm like, yeah. And he's like, I could tell. He's like, who is he? How did this happen? Like, what happened here? And I told him the whole story. Jag was pretty much told me that there's this guy, he's getting paid for consulting and yada, 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 and he's staying in this house for free and all this stuff. So I tell Jeremy, and he, like, wakes Jag up out of his sleep at, like, 12 a.m., brings him into, like, a big boardroom in the house and was like, you fucking stole this company from this guy. You don't do shit. Like, we're taking the company back. Like, you're a piece of shit. Get the fuck out of my house. And then from that moment on, I told Mortimer, we locked him out of the accounts. Everything. I made like a statement that people, there's like a public thing. Everybody knows about this part. On Facebook being like, this is my company. I'm taking it back. Yada, yada, yada. This is the craziest part of the whole story. So another tip for anybody in business, don't be on the same phone line as your business partner. And if you do, you should be in control of it. So imagine you have your phone line, I have my phone line, but it's on the same bill, like family plan kind of thing. So we locked him out of everything. I'm like super stressed. Also another tip, don't get drunk or do anything like this when this kind of thing is happening, when you're in a dispute, in a business
dispute. You need to be locked in
100%.
Ready to go.
So I'm stressed out. I'm like, I'm in LA. I'm like, this is, for some reason, I got invited by my friends at Lambda Chi, at USC, all my friends down there, tailgate Saturday, go there, blacked out.
You're like, I could use the distraction.
Go there, go back home, wake up, phone not on my phone line. Everything logged out. This motherfucker, props to him, this is genius. Took my phone line off the phone that I had, applied it to a device he had, sent the fucking emergency email thing, got the passwords back and took it back. So then we sued him. So then we had to sue him because it's like, oh, you had the passwords, but then we went to court for like a year and a half, litigation.
What is that like?
The worst shit ever. Like that's why everyone's like doesn't want to sue, and it literally was like year of like these lawyers just like talking shit to each other and like just nothing happening for a year, and everyone's wondering what's going on, and he has the account, so he's just posting like it's all good.
And who's funding all this at this point?
The investor. So he was paying for a top dollar lawyer, which is awesome. So all in all, what ended up happening is the lawyer's like, listen, we could fight this for 6 more months, but also at the time with Instagram, it's like, we don't know. Like Instagram was like nothing. There was no Facebook. It was like, I didn't know that if we just sent him a subpoena, like we could get the account back. So I'm like, this kid's just gonna run the account to the ground anyway. If he loses, we're never gonna get it back. Spend all this money. The schools were also like banning us because we did such shady business dealings because of him. Like for example, he was at Delaware. Like it got so bad, I would literally diverted from the tours that we were doing so I could disassociate with him because I didn't want to be responsible for his decisions. So we had like 2 tours running. So I was at Miami and he was at Delaware. He sells tickets to a event that we have no venue to. So sells like, we make like $50,000 in like, I don't know, 10 minutes, but there's no venue. And he's like, oh, it's at the rugby house. Puts the address to like some house of some kids that were like, yeah, let's have it at our house. Obviously that doesn't work. Obviously people are pissed because they spent $30 a ticket and to get there and they can't get in, or there's like people are there. It's just nothing.
Not planned at all. It's like Fire Festival on a much smaller scale.
Yes, correct. And then there's a riot, and then that was pretty much the beginning of the end because every school, every cop is just like, you're not gonna bring this to art. When you go to schools, when you're touring, basically, you have to abide by everyone's rules. You're a guest coming in their town. You're supposed to show respect. They're thinking already, I'm Shmacked. Like, what the fuck? Drunk ass kid. You're going to film us. You're going to make us look crazy. You're going to bring more idiots to our town. Now you're going to bring riots to our town? Oh, fuck no.
Yeah.
So the schools were pretty much at that point send messages to every school, every frat. If you're in I'm Shmacked, you're going to get kicked off campus. So I kind of saw the light at the end of the tunnel. I'm like, this isn't going to last long. I mean, we're already because the bread and butter of it was being able to have access to the frats and the cool parties. And I portrayed a lifestyle and vision that like really only 1% of the school lives. Like at Arizona, you lived the 1% of the Arizona lifestyle, I'm sure.
Yeah, it's crazy because U of A has a school of like 40,000 people, I'm pretty sure. And I think about
Can
it.
I use this?
Yeah, go for it. It's like a school of like 40,000 people. And, the amount of people that are in like top Greek life houses is about probably 2 or 3 houses, maybe 400 people total, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm like giving this crazy like steroid vision version of a school.
Mm-hmm.
And if you can't have access to those things and the sports and the people and all the good stuff, it kind of falls flat. And that's what happened after I left, because obviously it was dead. All the connections were made through me. So after I left, it was kind of like, it still worked for a little bit, but the vision and everything fell short. But basically, I saw light at the end of the tunnel, and I was like, yeah, let's just settle. So we made a deal where I made a deal with the investor where it's like, okay, you just handle the legal fees. I'll settle with the rest of my equity, and then you give me $200K to start a new company, and I'll give you a piece of that. So we stopped with, we settled, gave him,
Did he get the money back?
Yeah, he got, so he had to repay the $500K that
Jag
was
did.
invested. Jag had to pay back and replenish the $500K, give it all back. Investor paid the legal fees, gave me a piece of the investment, gave it into College Weekly, and then like that was a really cool thing because I was able to like literally birth like an instant competitor like right after the settlement.
Okay, cool. Hell yeah. And College Weekly is still around today, and it's still posting, and it's still running. And so what was your idea with that, and how did that differ from I'm Shmacked? What lessons did you take away from this first company that was, pretty much like solely party videos, right, and events, and you're like, how can we make this better?
Yeah, so the funny thing about College Weekly is it was actually an account that we incubated in I'm Shmacked. Like we promoted it and like posted it and stuff, so it was like a little like sister page kind of. And then like during that time when shit was going south, he just forgot about it, so I kept that. And then I was like, okay, well, the problem with I'm Shmacked was it was all about underage drinking and just illegal shit.
Yeah.
And that was most of the problem behind like monetizing. It was everyone was like, we don't want to touch this because you're literally promoting underage drinking. And at that time, like I said, not a lot of options with monetizing. So I just wanted to make it more buttoned up, more corporate friendly, more campaign based, more, about experiential marketing, online social marketing. And that's what we did with College Weekly. It was more Greek focused, try to do all different kind of things with content, try new stuff. Like also Shmacked got so stale. Like I tried to do new things in different styles. Like towards the end of I'm Shmacked, we actually had to like make like creative videos. Like I remember we did one called like Save Cuse, and it was like it was so like it was corny as hell looking back at it, but it was like narrations of people talking about why they like the school and stuff like that. And like it was done tastefully because I was doing it and it was good, but like it's like you're going from people smashing drinks on their head and the fucking beer splashing to the camera's face to like this, and everyone just like the fuck. Like so the flip was kind of just too paradox for people to like really catch, so it kind of just like fell off at that point. But for College Weekly, it was more clean. Like the College Weekly name, it just even sounds like timeless. So with that, it was like a lot easier, and we just focused on like Greek stuff. So the first tour we did with that, we did a scripted series where we would literally go to a school. It was me, my friend Kyle Herbert, and Sonny Brunette. Kyle Herbert is like in Jimmy Tatro's like crew in college, so he's a great writer. He's still doing stuff. Awesome guy. We would go to a school, spend a week there. We'd write like scripts about like what is going on at the school and like tie it into the storyline of the show or the series. It was an online series. This is so ahead of its time, 2013, and it was about this character named Andrew Light, who didn't do anything his whole college career but study. And his cousin, who Jimmy Tatro plays, calls him and he's like, what are you doing? Like, are you ready to like, why aren't you turning up? Like, it's your last year. Like, you got to fucking live it up. And he's just like, all right, fuck it. So he leaves his school and goes to travel around these schools on like a whim. And he's just going, we're literally writing the story as we go. Mm-hmm. Whatever's happening. We go to start at Alabama, and it's like just football. We talk about like the frats there. We make like inside jokes. We go to Tennessee. There's boxing week. Go to FSU. He meets his sister, who's my girlfriend at the time. Go to FSU Pike. Like all this shit, it leads on and on and on. So that was the first thing we did. We had like a tour bus that was wrapped, all this different crazy shit. Then we did like MTV like tours, basically for frats. That was really big. That was probably the biggest content piece for College Weekly. That was like the marquee.
Oh yeah, like the houses.
Yeah.
So how do you monetize College Weekly? Because you have a lot of views on it.
Yeah.
Sure.
So basically we just do, it turned into like a boutique marketing agency. So record labels, frozen food companies we've done campaigns for, clothing brands, drinks, apps that just want to penetrate the college market will do anything they want. We'll just make a pretty much specialized campaign for them, whether that's online, events, touring, seating, reps, ambassadors. So we've been doing that forever and just getting better and better because I have like a marketing background. My godfather has a marketing agency, so I just always wanted to do that. It's like a passion of mine is marketing and making content. So
and now you split time between College Weekly and Neighbors and Friends, obviously.
Yeah.
What is Neighbors and Friends for everyone watching?
So basically in 2017, a friend of mine, I dated a girl at Florida State for a long time, and I basically was invited to join Pike because I was spending so much time there, and I would only like basically hang out with them. And they bidded me up, and at the time you were allowed to join the fraternity if you were in the community college there. So there was a loophole that they called ghost bidding, and I didn't go to the community college either, but they were just like, well, you've been riding with us and you've helped us so much, so like if you're not in the frat, like let's just get you in here. So we did that, and like I could still log into like the Omega Phi and everything. Like I'm not like an honorary brother, like I'm like on paper. I have a Pike card and everything. It's hilarious. But pretty much I was a friend of mine, Juliet Porter, who's the star of a MTV reality show called Siesta Key. It's kind of like The Hills, but in Florida.
I feel like I've heard of that before.
Yeah, it's pretty big. It went on for like 7 seasons. I think it might still be going.
Dating show?
No, it's just like group of friends, and it's just like drama and stuff like that. So I watched it because I was like a friend of hers and I was interested, and I was like, wow, this is really cool, but like it seems so fake, like there's no way that it's real. And I was like, I just want to make it. Was just like, you know, when somebody does something so like close to you that you're like, well, I could do it too. So I was like, shit, we should make like the opposite of that, make a fratty reality show that guys would like, that like not just girls would like think it's cool because it's drama. So I had this idea to do that, and I asked my friend Bose, I'm like, yo, do you know anybody at FSU, like a group of friends is crazy? Like, and he's like, oh, I know this kid, Mo, this group called the Olos. We should check them out. So I fly out there, just hang out with them just to see if they're worth it. Really like them. They're really cool. It's like a group of fraternity kids and sorority girls, and they lived across the street from each other. One was in a big like house, and then the girls were in the apartment. Come back, film a week. We're going to shoot a pilot, and then the idea was to just sell it. And then
sell the show.
Yeah.
Huh, okay.
And then it got really big around the campus. FSU sent me a cease and desist. They were pissed. It popped off in the area. So I'm like, damn, like I got offers from production companies and everything. And I realized like the roadmap to TV is pretty much bullshit. It's pretty much, hey, the only way that you're going to get your TV show on TV is if you sign it to me. I'm a production company, and I have to have sales to a Netflix or streaming or whatever, a network. So you sign the production to me exclusively, and I can produce it, and then I'll bring it into the network, and then you get a percentage of the deal, like 10% or 20% or less. You get paid one time. I produce the show for ever.
Yeah.
And I keep getting the money, and then you just get your name on it, and if it fails,
Yeah.
That's it. So I was like, shit, like, I make content. I think this is really fun. I had a lot of fun doing this. It was very challenging and exciting. So, like, let's just do it again. And since FSU pretty much was like, fuck off, you can't do this here, the model changed from like, okay, we can't just follow a group of kids at each school. Let's just get kids from other schools and bring them to a neutral zone and just make it a game show with drinking challenges.
Yeah.
So we did that for season 2 in Fort Lauderdale, and that shit blew the fuck
Good
up
spot.
on YouTube. That shit blew the fuck up. It was like, I don't even know what it was. I think it was the characters, Tom Walker, shout out him. We had a kid from UF, girl from UMiami.
And what is this, just on YouTube, what does that look like? Is it like a whole like hour and a half long movie, or is it like multiple 15, 20 minute long?
Back then, I think they were like 30 minutes, but yeah, I tried to just emulate the cringe reality TV show, but like make it funny and make it just ridiculous and no filter. So it's like, this is Tom Walker, the tall, blue-eyed heartbreaker from University of Florida and Pike. You know what I mean? And here's Madison, the model from Florida State. She actually went on to be on Too Hot to Handle's first season. So,
oh, nice.
Yeah. So I just kind of just made it fun, and it just rolled on from there. And from season 3. Even then, with YouTube, 2017, like, how the fuck do we monetize it? They didn't even roll that shit out. And I think, like, maybe that was that year or a little bit later, 2018 or something. But pretty much the show stalled because I didn't know how to monetize it. We had alcohol sponsors, Beatbox, shout out Beatbox, always supporting. And we got the money to produce the show, but post-production, it was, like, just me editing it. And it took so long. They're, like, hour episodes. So I'm like, this is just a passion project. Like, doesn't make me money. Like, I can't do this anymore. Put it on the back burner. COVID hits 3 years later. The funny thing is, I released this show, like, 3 or 4 episodes of it, and I just stopped because I was just like, fuck it. And it had, like, this weird cult fan base because everybody was like, where the fuck did the show go?
Yeah.
Like, it was so lit.
Well, how big is it? How many views is that? Or, like, how big was the size?
Like 80,000 views per episode.
Nice.
Back then, I mean, that was a lot.
For YouTube,
It's getting a lot more views than it. I just put a new one on YouTube, and it's hard to get that many views now. It's so much saturation.
Yeah.
But so it kind of just had this lore to it, like where this epic random show that was just like unlike anything else online, where to go. So when COVID hit, I was like, 'cause I always in the back of my mind, I'm like, did I fuck up by just leaving this show to go to die? Because I feel like it's still haven't seen anything else like it. So when COVID hit, I posted on the pages. I'm like, do we want this back? Because we got nothing but time now. And everyone's like, yeah. So this is early Patreon. And I'm like, fuck it. If you guys want to see it, let's run it up on Patreon, see how much money we can make. And if it's enough, I can work with some people and we can edit this season and try to get another one made. So finished. And I had the whole 3rd season that I shot and never even touched.
Yeah.
So it was perfect. So we finished off season 2, released that, boom. Edited season 3 as a whole, boom. Made enough money, put that on Patreon. Made enough money through there to produce a whole 4th season. Made
and how much do you need to produce a season? Like, what is that?
20K, 30K.
Nice.
So built a website. Like, it grossed on Patreon, it made like 70K. So in COVID. So edit season 2, edit season 3, produce a whole another 4th season, edit that. COVID ends, start rolling and keep going. Season 5, season 6, I just did season 7 last March. Just finished releasing it. Finale came out like last week. So yeah, it's
Nice,
been pretty crazy with the show. And the plan with that is I think I'm gonna keep it to myself forever, because like at this point, if you work on something for 7 seasons, it's like, what's the point? Like, I have a website that I have subscription based. People pay to watch. There's a paywall, and I keep all the back catalog on there, which was the original business model, was just everything behind the paywall, which obviously hurt views, but it made a lot more money. But this season, I'm like, with so much saturation in COVID, it was booming. Like, we're making like 15K a month off that shit. And then saturation of content, it just goes down and down and down. So I was like, let's just put it for free on YouTube. The most recent one will be for free on YouTube. And then since we built up such a catalog, keep the old ones on paywall, because it'll just gauge interest and people will want to see where it came from. So that's been pretty good of a pivot, and yeah, it's sustaining, and I'm able to create what I like to create, and
Nice.
you know, it pays the bills and it's good. I love it.
Does that pay most of your bills, or is College Weekly still?
College Weekly does too,
bringing
yeah.
money too?
But that's just fucking school year though, because we do basically every fall we'll do like a big tour where fraternities book events through us, and then we get a sponsor on it. We had Livin' sponsor. It's a big.
Oh yeah, I know Livin'. Yeah.
They're awesome. Great spring break company. We did like a 2 to 3 year deal with them, renew. So hopefully they're happy with what it was. I think they are.
Nice.
So every fall we do one of those, and then right now we're running a campaign for Gunna with 300 for his tour. So that's cool. So yeah, it's dope.
Nice. And then what's the plan moving forward for Neighbors and Friends?
The plan is to keep running it independently and keep running it up, keep getting it bigger and bigger. Just yesterday, this big YouTuber, Gunnar Klein, started making reaction videos to it, so that's awesome. Nice. Hopefully we get a Cody Ko one. That's the big guy.
Yeah.
We need to get Cody to review one of them. That's so cringe videos on it. But yeah, just keep it independent and keep it rolling, because, you know, another word of advice to young people, as long as it's sustaining and you can make money off it and you're doing what you love, you don't need to force it. You don't need to rush it. You don't need to, you don't need to listen to, you should be making more money. Everybody's going to have something to say. It's like, keep the ownership, keep the control and the creative control. And I'm talking to people, a friend of yours that you connected with, Max, his friend's dad, Brett Travers, he's a producer. He's interested in selling some reality shows with me too. So starting some stuff up, and
Is that where you want to stay? You want to stay in TV? Was it reality TV specifically?
I mean,
producing.
I think that there's a big lane for it in college, and I think that also in college, a lot of people are scared to stay in college stuff. Like, once you graduate college, everyone's like, okay, now I have to like move on. It's like, people often say like, Yofray, are you gonna ever stop doing college stuff? And it's like, listen, I don't think that you should be going to colleges and partying. I don't do that. I don't go to frat parties and stuff like that. I don't even go to the colleges at all unless we're doing a big campaign and I need to show face. But like, the college space is $1 billion industry that has crazy funding and spending, that discretionary spending that people don't give a shit about. Half the time it's their parents' credit card. And it's the fountain of youth of business, because it doesn't matter if it's Gen Z, Gen B, college kids like the same stuff: partying, traveling, fun experiences, and just having fun. I don't need to change my marketing strategy. All I need to do is hire college kids to post and stay up to date with things and tell me what's good and what's new, and just keep it rolling. So that's
it's a market for sure. I mean, and I also think you can build like lifelong customers off of it too. I mean, most of our like early customers, most of my early viewers for my content, it was college stuff, and then it started with like fraternity shit, right? The whole lessons I learned as fraternity president series. Then I got a DM from someone this morning. He's like, I used to think your college shit was so fucking stupid, but now I'm a big fan. He's like, you switched me. I was like, first of all, why'd you say the first part? But I guess that's good, right? That's how you acquire a customer, and then they stay with you for life, or a viewer, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, so to answer your question, with the show, going to keep that to myself and then just sell other ones. Because, like, you can make big chunks of money selling, like, just a show concept. Like, I'm going to try to sell the MTV Cribs one for fraternities. Like, we're packaging that up. Just any ideas. Like, I don't want to give my sauce before I sell it, but I have a bunch of ideas. And the producer was like, yeah, there's no one that does college-based TV shows at all. And, like, yeah, the ideas don't need to be crazy, but you need the access, because college kids just don't give a shit about anyone, but you have respect and you can go on these college campuses and people know who you are. So you should own the space. So I'm going to try to get that sale and then hopefully just keep rolling, and hopefully be that guy in the TV industry that's, you know, be flipping and rolling these college shows. So what is that?
You just come up with a script?
You just come up with a concept, shoot a pilot, like basically a pre-episode, like just a example, proof of concept episode, and then pitch it. People like it, they buy it, they produce it, and that's it. Depending on if they want you on as creative control or just to add a hand in, I think that they would, because like the guy was saying, he's like, you're in a good position because they're gonna need your ear and your eye to know what to put in the show. They don't want to be out of touch with it, which is good, a good position to be in, because a lot of times you sell the show and they're just like, all right, peace, we don't need you, we got it. Like, so, and I'll be fine with that too. I mean, at the end of the day, it's like, I'm not married to those ideas. I'm married to Neighbors and Friends because I've spent so much time on it and it doesn't really make sense. Like, even if someone came to me and said, I'll give you $2 million for Neighbors and Friends, I would be like, that just makes me think that you're going to go turn around and make $5 million real quick. So like, well, let's just make a deal here. I'm not trying to sell it right, like just hand it over, you know?
Yeah.
And that's another thing that people should think about too.
Have you ever thought about doing any sort of reality TV when it comes to like partnering with a company like Livin', right? And doing something on those trips? I feel like my craziest college experiences were on those Vegas trips, those Cabo trips, right?
Yeah, I talked to them about that. They seemed pretty interested. I think this year, the first year, was just building relationships and making sure we could trust one another, and that's a lot. It's a lot of risk of putting all that content out there. You got to make sure you're working with the right person, that they're not just going to release some shit and then everybody's suing Livin'. But no, I mean, we've done 7 seasons and every single person has gone on to do great things and go on other reality shows or start businesses and stuff like that. So we got a good track record. And
would you start to do other reality, like ever, like shifting away from college?
Yeah, I'll be down. I have a lot of ideas that are non-college as well.
Do you want to talk about any of them?
No, I can't give a sauce yet.
You gotta hold that shit tight. All right, fair enough. From the entire experience of starting a business and somebody else coming in and taking control, what was your biggest takeaway from that? What was like that one piece of advice or one lesson you could share to everyone?
Man, I'm honestly, it's like people always ask me like, "Are you sad this happened?" And like, it gave me so many lessons. I'm so glad it happened the way it did, because like I think I'm Shmacked was pretty much a fluke of luck, because like it was a combination of, don't get me wrong, it was very impactful. I know that it was great. I know people chose their colleges off of it, but at the end of the day, it was right time. Instagram was popping off at that time. Facebook was popping off at the time. It was easy to grow. I had a lot of connections built in from my my high school. So I would go to schools and it would be easy. I would know someone on every campus. And the videos were like, they're okay. I look back at them and they're like shit, but like at the time they were good. But it's like, I think that I would have burned out because I would have gotten ego. I would have gotten like, oh, I did this. I'm the man. I'm so smart. I'm a genius. And then it would have just eventually fizzled out. And
it ran its course.
And I would have just been like, also the way that the company was, like it was so raunchy. Like it was just, I think it would have burned out and I would have just been looking nuts. But I'm glad that I had that happen to me, and it taught me, like, don't be negligent. You got to get your business shit together. You know what you're doing. You can't just be head in the clouds, like partying and getting drunk. I'd say if you're gonna start a business, do research. Like back then, there wasn't YouTube videos and business gurus and everything. Like, ask your parents things and your peers. Ask for advice. Don't be too cool. One, first piece of advice. 2, do research. Make sure you know what's going on in your business. It seems boring, especially to creative people. It seems boring. It seems whack. But like I said, if you don't, you will get taken advantage of. And like it's a fact. 100% of the time you will. If you don't know what you're doing, you will. And that's in anything, not just business. So know what's going on. 3, date before you marry and business partners. You have to talk to the person, be with them, hang out with them, down the low times, the good times, see what they're like when they're drunk, see what they're like when they're really mad, see what they're like when they're really sad, see what they're like when if you hang out with someone when everything is always going good, that doesn't tell you anything. That's the same in a relationship with a girl. It's like, it doesn't matter when everything's good. When the going gets tough, that's when people show their true colors. So that is the 3rd thing. What's the 4th thing?
Watch Squid Talk.
Watch Lucas's videos.
Watch my videos so I can teach you through my mistakes. I've definitely partnered with wrong people before, and yeah, at the beginning they seem like the most charismatic, like awesome guy ever, super smart. Oh, I need this guy. This is exactly who we need on our side to grow this business. And then they turn out to be con men. There's lots of people like that out there.
Fourth one is read between the lines. Like, play devil's advocate. Don't just think everything is good, because when you're excited, your mind will make you ignore every red flag and be like, oh no, it's good, it's all good. You have to read between the lines. I'm sure if I read between the lines, I would have saw that this was bullshit from the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
And 5, never let anybody tell you that you need to give equity because they brought the investor in.
Yeah.
You got to split it.
Yeah, I mean, that's
that was
hard.
the dumbest thing. That was the dumbest thing.
That's a lesson that you learn once and you never make that mistake again.
Well, I made it for everybody watching.
Yeah.
So now you don't have to.
Nice. Well, yeah, dude. I mean, it was a good like run while it lasted, and once again, like when I was growing up, I watched all that and I was like, this is fucking sick. I chose my college based on it, like, and so it's a good story. I'm glad I got to be involved in some way at the end, but
yeah, literally, it was. I mean, people that were living it know, but I would literally go to a school. In the early days, it was a bus. As you got more money, it was plane. But go to a school, hang out for a week, film every single day. Then Sunday, I would go to the library, pop an Adderall, edit overnight, and the video drops on Monday. And everyone's like, ah. And then I'll go to the next school.
Night?
Yeah, then I'll go to the next school.
Wow.
The coolest thing about ImShmacked was when you drop a video and then you like go to like the frat or like the dorm and you just hear the song playing.
Yeah.
And then it becomes like the song of the school. That was dope. Those were good days.
Yeah. What was the one for U of A? It was the hymn.
I was gone during that.
Oh, you weren't at that one?
The OG one was Krayshawn Fire Truck.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
And then there was some other one. But yeah,
nice.
Arizona was a good one. I love Arizona.
Yeah.
Arizona's definitely top 10. I'm not gonna say top 5, but
yeah,
it was up there. I'd say like
in terms of like your experiences going there and checking it out.
My favorite schools, yeah.
Nice. What was top 1?
Top 1 best school in the country, easily, hands down, USC. It's just the most well-rounded.
Yeah.
Just Greek life.
That was my dream
sports,
school, dude.
Me too. Sports, Greek life, nightlife, city, girls, connections, just you name it. It's just the one. And then 2, Indiana University was really cool. All my friends went there. Bloomington, great place, good Midwest school. And then 3rd, I'd say Florida State. Florida State is out of control.
Yeah, FSU, Miami, I imagine too is a great time. I feel like the Florida schools are popping off right now.
I love Florida. Florida is
everything. Would you ever move over there?
Yeah, I'm thinking about it. South
Nice.
Florida. Me and my girlfriend are thinking about it.
Nice. Well, I know you said you had some questions for me. I feel like we're kind of wrapping it up towards the end here. So, do you remember what those were?
Who are some of your inspirations for content creation or business? Both. Content creators first, then business people.
I don't know. I don't really try and make stuff based on other people's videos, to be honest.
Oh no, not like making it. Just like people that you respect or look up to or think are cool.
Oh, I mean, in general.
Yeah, content.
I mean,
and business.
I admire. I mean, kind of where the direction I'm trying to go right now is and who I kind of take some inspiration from is number 1 guys like Alex Hormozy.
Oh yeah,
right?
yeah.
I love Alex Hormozy. He's a little too boring for me though, right? All he does is talk about business, right? And that's fine. That's his niche.
Yeah.
Right? He's very good at it.
I like his branding too. I like how he wears the same thing every time.
Yeah, I mean he just seems like a genuine but very intelligent guy, and I respect that a lot. So I want to take a little bit from him, as well as taking a little bit from a guy like Jake Paul, and kind of mesh those 2 forms of content, and that's the direction I'm trying to go in.
Jake's a legend.
Have you met Jake?
Yeah, I've worked with Jake plenty of times. We did a scripted series at University of Arizona. Actually, one of them was the stops. We did like a scripted series, kind of loosely based around this app he was a part of. Never finished it just because like the app kind of like fizzled out. But that was when he was like 18, and then I did music videos with him. Like, he's dope. He's definitely.
Which music video did you work on?
A video that never came out. It was a song with NLE Choppa. It was a great song. I could show you it when we get off here, but it was hilarious. Steve-O was in it. Like, I wish it would have came out, but a lot of respect for that guy. He works really hard. Logan too. Bro, I met Logan during ImShmacked at Ohio University. Like, there's a lot of people that through the years I've just like met through doing stuff, like, and even people that have told me that our videos inspired them. Like, shout out the Nelk boys. Like, they're like crushed life. They're like fucking bajillionaires. Like, that's so cool. I met Kyle back in the day, Kyle and Jesse, and they said they used to watch the videos. So shout out to them. They're fucking. Happy Dad is sick. They sponsored our season. They sponsored they sponsored season 7 of the show.
Nice.
So yeah, those guys are crushing. Dirty Dom from the Vlog Squad, he's a boy. He hit me up about it. Andrew Callahan is killing it with Channel 5. Hassan Piker, good friend of mine. He's dope. Just a lot of people that were coming up. Gordo.
Yeah, I feel like that was probably the coolest part of your story and your job is you just got to meet a lot of really cool people. In my mind, that's the biggest benefit to me in my business is meeting people.
Yeah.
So I feel like you got some great exposure to some.
Yeah, keeping those
people
friendships.
Who are big stars now.
Yeah, and Jimmy Tatro too. Like, I look at people like I always, even on College Weekly, I'm always like up on the new people, just helping them, promoting them. Like when Trevor Wallace was starting out, we'd always post him. Like, shout out Jimmy Tatro. He's like the OG. Dom Mazzetti, these OG YouTube people that like they go on to do other stuff and people just forget that they're the goats of this shit. So it's really cool.
Facts. Oh yeah, well said, dude. Well, we're kind of at the end here, so thank you again for coming on.
Yes, sir.
And I'm glad that people got to get like the backstory on who you are as a person, because there's more stuff cooking up in the future for sure. But
yeah, very rare. This is my first podcast. I never do podcasts because I just feel like I haven't done enough yet to be talking. But hey, I'm glad we did it together and we could do it on the Squid Pod.
For sure.
Let's go. Yeah.